Hi guys, JT here, and today I'll be bringing you some information on the Humble Bundle Resident Evil Decades of Horror Bundle Village Edition of August 2023. To help you answer the question, should you buy it? By using the link provided in the description below, not only will you gain access to this bundle, but you also have the opportunity to support this channel. Your support will mean the world to me, and I genuinely appreciate it. Anyway, let's get into this. And number 1 we have Resident Evil 0 HD, the game that serves as a prelude to Resident Evil 1. Engaging as a member of the Special Tactics and Rescue Service, or STARS for short, you embark on an investigation into the horrific murders within the Spencer mansion. However, your intended arrival at the mansion is thwarted by a crash landing. Assuming the role of Rebecca Chambers, you uncover a train plagued by the undead. Amid the train's dire circumstances, you encounter an escapee, an ex-military individual, Billy Cohen. This game features a unique aspect of dual character gameplay, fostering collaborative puzzle solving and exploiting distinct proficiencies to combat the zombie threat. Ultimately, your trajectory leads to an Umbrella Corporation mansion, paralleling the challenges of the Spencer mansion. As in the preceding installment, keys and puzzles dominate your journey, intertwined with the quest for liberation and revelation. The exploration attains the level of quality established in Resident Evil 1, embellished by informative memos scattered throughout the mansion. Notably, this rendition showcases a heightened combat dynamic, empowered by the synergy of dual protagonists and augmented firepower. Mechanically, the AI-driven control of the non-playable character remains commendable. Resident Evil 0 HD deviates from the multiple ending construct of Resident Evil 1, yet affords the opportunity for subsequent gameplay as a potent Wesker. In this formidable incarnation, the ability to eliminate zombies through a mere gaze and swift traversal adds a layer of exhilaration. The inventory system, however, presents some challenges, aggravated by the absence of a magic checkpoint box. The compensatory factor arrives in the form of an expanded inventory, buoyed by the presence of a secondary playable character. While not attaining the pinnacle set by Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 0 HD warrants acknowledgement as an immersive experience. Its elevated difficulty tier captivates, and the unraveling of mansion enigmas delivers considerable gratification. To preserve the integrity of surprises within Resident Evil 1, it is advisable to sequence Resident Evil 0 HD after its predecessor. An optimal sequence might even extend to include Resident Evil 2 and 3, but forcing your brain to go from third person to tank controls is a bit challenging. And number 2 we have Resident Evil 1 HD, the game that stands as the foundational title in the series. Players assume the roles of Special Tactics and Rescue Service members, investigating disturbing mass murder within the Spencer mansion. As you arrive, ravenous dogs assail your team, prompting a desperate escape into the mansion's depths. Yet, safety remains elusive. The primary aim is to escape, necessitating the discovery of keys to unlock passages and rooms while evading the ferocious undead. A backdrop of science fiction mystery unfolds, unraveling layers within the mansion's history and the gruesome murders. Dual storylines emerge, contingent upon your choice of character, Jill Valentine or Chris Redfield. Each protagonist boasts unique allies and narratives, advocating multiple playthroughs to fully grasp the experience. The game boasts diverse conclusions for each character, catering to completionist players. Combat assumes a secondary role, with the majority of gameplay dedicated to key retrieval. Engaging zombies is feasible, yet ammunition and resources are scant. Eradicating zombies risks their resurgence as nimble Crimson Heads, intensifying the challenge. The mansion's exploration is a rewarding pursuit, offering concealed treasures behind locked doors. Unlocking each enigma-laden door brings a satisfying revelation. Delving into the memos, scattered throughout, enriches your understanding of the mansion's victims, notably Lisa's family, whose tragic story evokes poignant emotion. Resident Evil 1 HD's captivating blend of horror, exploration, and enigmatic intrigue makes it a standout choice for enthusiasts of suspenseful exploration horror games. And number 3 we have Resident Evil 2 Remake. Resident Evil 2 Remake offers a choice between protagonists Leon Kennedy, a rookie cop set to begin his Raccoon City Police Department tenure, and Claire Redfield, searching for her brother Chris amidst the zombie-infested city. Unexpectedly, the outbreak transforms Raccoon City into a realm of chaos. Taking refuge within the police department, you inadvertently step into a labyrinthine former museum imbued with enigmatic darkness. The remake reimagines the original game entirely, revamping its mechanics. While the original Resident Evil 2 resembled Resident Evil 1 and 0, this remake adopts a third-person perspective akin to Resident Evil 4, 5, and 6. Unlike the latter trio's action orientation, this installment retraces its survival horror origins, with constrained resources to combat zombies. Mr. X, the relentless pursuer, makes a comeback, shadowing your steps within the police department. His distinctive theme heralds the need for swift evasion. The game captivates with formidable challenges. Zombies are resilient, requiring more than mere headshots to eliminate, all while resources remain scarce. The police station itself is replete with intricate puzzles, locked doors, concealed secrets, and hordes of zombies to either evade or confront. Nonetheless, opting for aggressive engagement might lead to regret, depleting your ammunition reserves and endangering your survival. Combat mechanics are fluid and intense, particularly in encounters with zombies and Mr. X. A truly unsettling moment emerges when you find yourself defenseless, forced to flee a mansion. A proper introduction to the Resident Evil universe through experiences like Resident Evil 1 and 0 makes this installment in the series a compelling next step. The game's dual protagonists yield 4 distinct starting points, significantly extending its replay value. Immersing yourself in the Raccoon City Police Department becomes an enthralling endeavor within this stellar addition to the series. And number 4 we have Resident Evil 3 Remake. Resident Evil 3 Remake places you in the role of Jill Valentine, a key figure from Resident Evil 1. Haunted by PTSD stemming from the Spencer Mansion incident, you are abruptly thrust back into the zombie-infested Raccoon City. Enter Nemesis, a more lethal version of Mr. X, equipped with an array of weaponry, from flamethrowers to rocket launchers, and remarkable speed capable of sprinting at you from a distance. Whenever Nemesis appears, evasion is paramount to survival. His relentless pursuit is a constant threat. Following the franchise's tradition, your objective is to escape a dire locale, in this case, the entirety of Raccoon City. Uncover keys to unlock sealed doors and navigate through the nightmare. While Resident Evil 2 confined you mainly to isolated buildings, Resident Evil 3 introduces you to the diverse denizens of Raccoon City, each engaged in their own struggles, thereby imbuing the city with character. Gameplay leans towards a more arcadey feel, particularly evident in New Game Plus with new weaponry. A dodge mechanic heightens combat agility, fostering a faster-paced experience compared to Resident Evil 2. Nonetheless, Resident Evil 3 faces certain drawbacks. Its brevity, clocking at around 8 hours for a thorough playthrough, is noticeable. Elements like the omission of the clock tower sequence from the original game and the gradual decline of Nemesis' fear factor due to evolutionary shifts are somewhat disappointing. However, Resident Evil 3 remains captivating, particularly if one sets realistic expectations regarding game length and lacks familiarity with the original version's cut content. And number 5 we have Resident Evil 4 2005, the game that pioneered the third-person perspective in the series. Once again, you assume the role of Leon Kennedy, 6 years after the Raccoon City incident and the downfall of Umbrella. Having risen from the rank of a rookie cop, Leon now collaborates directly with the US president. Tasked with rescuing the president's daughter, Ashley Graham, abducted by a cult called Los Iluminados, Leon embarks on a mission to retrieve her safely. Upon encountering a Spanish village, he discovers that the villagers are under the influence of the Las Plagas virus, controlled by the cult's leaders. Resident Evil 4 2005 diverges from the traditional zombies by presenting adversaries who are mind-controlled humans capable of coordination. The gameplay, which I experienced on PlayStation 2, blends action with third-person mechanics, fostering a compelling experience. Notably, eerie creatures such as Garrador, U3, and the chilling Regenerator infuse the game with tension. Cult leaders like Salazar and Sadler, functioning as bosses, exhibit distinct personalities. The enigmatic merchant also adds a memorable touch to the game. Returning characters provide added engagement, particularly if one had played through the series sequentially. Resident Evil 4 2005 warrants a replay, especially on higher difficulties, as one progresses from point A to point B, murdering infected foes. While the absence of Resident Evil 4 Remake from this bundle may be noted, the original installment remains a captivating adventure. And number 6 we have Resident Evil Revelations, a game that, though chronologically preceding Resident Evil 5, was released after it. Once more, you assume the role of Jill Valentine, known from Resident Evil 1 and 3. This time, your objective is to locate Chris Redfield, whose whereabouts were thought to be on the ship, the Queen Zenobia. For some reason, Chris Redfield goes missing all of the time. Anyway, once Chris is found, the task becomes escaping the vessel. In the process, you uncover the utilization of Queen Zenobia for crafting a new T-virus strain, called the T-Abyss virus, compelling you to halt its production and secure your escape. Resident Evil Revelations returns to the franchise's survival horror origins while maintaining the third-person perspective. Unlike enemies dropping ammunition upon demise, they now yield nothing, prompting you to scavenge for limited resources aboard the ship. The game introduces a scanner for discovering concealed items, though it can disrupt the pacing. The monstrous entities in Revelations, aquatic humanoids infected with the T-Abyss virus, exude a disturbing aura as they relentlessly lunge to feed on you. Despite the Queen Zenobia's expansive size, the narrow corridors and surrounding darkness evoke a sense of claustrophobia. Upon replaying the game recently, I find myself enjoying the terrifying adventure and engaging gameplay, though the antagonists once again failed to leave a lasting impression. Nonetheless, I wholeheartedly endorse Resident Evil Revelations as a compelling horror encounter within the Resident Evil series. And number 7 we have Resident Evil 5 Gold Edition. Resident Evil 5 occurs post-Revelations, casting Chris as he heads to Africa to halt the bioorganic weapons trade. Predictably, plans crumble and a virus engulfs Africa, making you a target. Sheva Alamor, a local, partners with you, forging a cooperative gameplay, whether AI or another player. Past characters and references return, enhancing the experience without spoilers for those new to the main campaign. The Gold Edition introduces new story modes, Lost in Nightmares and Desperate Escape, adding gameplay and backstory. Lost in Nightmares serves as a prelude to Resident Evil 5, while Desperate Escape aligns with its conclusion. Resident Evil 5 leans more towards action than survival horror, drawing inspiration from Resident Evil 4. As the 5th installment in the main series, it accentuates action, featuring more enemies, grandiose traps, and expansive set pieces. It diverges significantly from Resident Evil Revelations' survival horror focus. Co-op play enhances enjoyment, alleviating Sheva's excessive item usage. I played it on the 360 with my brother upon its initial release, and we immensely enjoyed it. The storyline holds up well, guiding you through diverse maps to maintain freshness. Resident Evil 5 stands as a splendid action game, albeit deviating from the traditional Resident Evil style. The game's synergy of action-packed gameplay and cooperative dynamics provides a distinctive experience within the series. And number 8 we have Resident Evil Revelations 2. Resident Evil Revelations 2 is positioned between Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 6. Players assume the roles of Claire Redfield, the returning protagonist from Resident Evil 2, or Barry Burton, a character from Resident Evil 1. Notably, this game introduces Barry as a playable character, wielding his signature revolver. The experience pairs each character with partners. Claire partners with Moira Burton, Barry's daughter, and Barry partners with Natalia Corda, a mysterious girl possessing unique sensing abilities. The narrative unfolds on an island, where Claire and Moira are ensnared for experimentation by Alex Wesker, sibling of Albert Wesker from Resident Evil 1. Barry receives an SOS from his daughter and embarks on a fatherly rescue mission, meeting Natalia along the way. Revelations 2 retains the survival horror atmosphere, even with partner dynamics. While resource scarcity persists, firearms remain the primary method to combat zombies, though players can opt to engage with physical attacks. Enemies influenced by Alex Wesker's virus exhibit heightened aggression and mobility, enhancing the threat they pose. The zombies' appearance is decidedly gruesome, bearing the marks of torture and decay. Notably, the partner characters Moira and Natalia do not use firearms. Moira employs her flashlight to blind zombies, while Claire dispatches them, and Natalia employs bricks to stun zombies, allowing Barry to finish them off. The game's episodic structure provides breaks within the adventure, offering respite after intense encounters. Resident Evil Revelations 2 excels as an action-oriented survival horror title, marked by unsettling set pieces. Additionally, the game boasts multiple endings, approximately 4, depending on the character pair, incentivizing multiple playthroughs for a comprehensive experience. And number 9 we have Resident Evil 6. Regarded as the outlier within the franchise, it amplifies its action orientation significantly. This installment is defined by intense action sequences and sprawling locales spanning continents. Unlike previous entries, the game showcases a global struggle against the widespread bioorganic weapons threat. You control 3 distinct character pairs: Leon and newcomer Helena, Chris and newcomer Pierce, and Sherry, the defenseless child from Resident Evil 2, alongside Jake, Wesker's son. Yes, Wesker indeed has a son, though I'm clueless about the mother. With 6 characters featured in 3 intertwined campaigns, diversity is key. Leon's campaign retains survival horror nuances. Chris's leans towards action, and Sherry's offers a stalker-based horror action experience. A concealed side story featuring Ada Wong adds intrigue for players to uncover firsthand. While labeled as horror, Resident Evil 6 pivots significantly towards action. Direct engagement is streamlined, enabling punches and kicks without prompts. Enhanced agility encompasses running, gunning, and dodging. Colossal bosses dominate the landscape, set against larger-than-life backdrops. Picture battling a colossal T-Rex-like creature or a massive fly rivaling a cruise ship in size. That's the essence of Resident Evil 6. Quick-time events punctuate gameplay, adding an engaging layer. While a stellar action game, Resident Evil 6 diverges from the traditional Resident Evil identity, albeit being adorned with the franchise's name. Despite this, enjoying it alongside a human partner, like I did with my brother, enhances the experience greatly. And number 10 we have Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. The game that marked a significant departure from its action-oriented predecessors, embracing a novel approach with a fresh protagonist, Ethan Winters, and a shift to a first-person perspective. The search for Ethan's long-missing wife, Mia, unfolds through a mysterious message leading him to a seemingly deserted estate in Dulvey, Louisiana. As he enters the eerie dwelling, he is thrust into a world of terror, contending not only with the unsettling atmosphere, but also the hostile Baker family. The game amplifies the horror element, placing players within a dilapidated, unnerving residence and the ominous presence of the relentless Jack Baker. Exploring the dilapidated Baker's residence, the quietude is shattered by sudden appearances of Jack, igniting heart-pounding pursuits and tense hiding moments under tables and in closets. Maintaining the quintessential Resident Evil style, Ethan must uncover keys to unlock doors and escape Jack Baker's clutches, culminating in a carefully paced progression. The chilling ambiance persists as the game leads players beyond the initial house, immersing them in an even more terrifying environment within the ominous figure of Marguerite, the mother of the family and wife of Jack Baker. Scarce ammunition and the isolation within the estate contribute to an overwhelming sense of dread, while the well-crafted antagonists like Jack and Marguerite imprint themselves in players' memories for years to come. The gameplay also features a section involving Mia that draws parallels to the ship-based scenario in Resident Evil Revelations, adding variety to the experience. Overall, Resident Evil 7 returns the series to its horror roots, offering a compelling experience for enthusiasts of the genre. Although the story may seem isolated from the rest of the series, the narrative ties to other Resident Evil titles, especially the subsequent entry in the series, making it a worthy addition to the franchise. And number 11 we have Resident Evil Village, also known as Resident Evil 8. This game re-immerses players into the shoes of Ethan Winters, the central figure from Resident Evil 7. Set in a new country, Ethan is establishing a fresh life with his wife Mia and their newborn, Rose. Having undergone training following the events of Dulvey, they have acquired better defensive skills. However, the tranquility shatters when Mia is unexpectedly slain by Chris Redfield, the protagonist of Resident Evil 1 and 5, who also abducts Rose. This thrusts Ethan into a quest to rescue Rose and uncover the enigma behind her abduction and Mia's murder. Contrary to its predecessor survival horror tone, Resident Evil 8 adopts a more action-centric approach, affording players increased access to ammunition dropped by enemies. The divergence from Resident Evil 7 is palpable. Moments of fear are rare, although a giant zombie infant's pursuit through confined passages in a dollhouse is an exception, instilling terror. The gameplay focal point shifts to first-person action shooting. However, it diverges from a full-throttle Call of Duty experience due to the enemy's resilience. Noteworthy is the assortment of antagonists in Resident Evil 8, each showcasing distinct personalities and diverse locales, culminating in climactic boss encounters. While appreciating the villain ensemble, the game's primary antagonist, Mother Miranda, left me less impressed, owing to her abbreviated and linear narrative segment. The game's journey spans a diverse village landscape encompassing a Dracula-style castle, an eerie dollhouse, a submerged city, and an industrial facility, ensuring ongoing freshness. The poignant ending stirred emotions as the pursuit of one's daughter culminated in a bittersweet ending. And number 12 we have Resident Evil Village Winter's Expansion, the DLC for the critically acclaimed base game. Building on the success of its predecessors, this expansion offers a treasure trove of content and updates that cater to the tastes of devoted fans of the franchise and survival horror enthusiasts alike. A key introduction is the new third-person perspective mode, which starkly contrasts with the original first-person view. While both have their merits, the third-person mode's advantage lies in swiftly surveying your surroundings, enhancing gameplay. Personal preference plays a role, as some might favor the immersive dread of the first-person perspective. Equally noteworthy are the additions of the Mercenaries mode, featuring the Mercenaries Additional Orders. The inclusion of Chris Redfield as an immediate playable character spices up the gameplay. However, unlocking other characters requires mastering stages with an A rank, adding a layer of challenge that rewards dedication. Switching between characters highlights unique power combinations, amplifying the sense of empowerment. The expansion's centerpiece is the Shadows of Rose story DLC, a narrative gem that enriches the overall experience. Embark on a poignant journey alongside Rose, grappling with her untamed powers through a series of riveting challenges. The story captivates with its engaging depth, despite its lamentable brief duration. Gameplay takes you through intricate, dimly lit environments, involving combat, evasion, and puzzles, hallmarks of the Resident Evil series. Rose's powers inject innovation, enabling freezing and slowing of enemies and combat. This dynamic mechanic strikes a balance between power and vulnerability, ensuring engaging gameplay without rendering you invincible. The DLC excels in crafting an unsettling atmosphere, leaning more on psychological tension than jump scares. Its visuals and models are meticulously detailed, offering a visual feast. The performance and visual options are extensive, contributing to a polished experience. To sum it up, Winter's expansion proves a captivating addition, with the Shadows of Rose DLC standing out for its narrative brilliance. Despite its brevity and some asset reuse, this expansion resonates as a commendable fusion of storytelling and gameplay. However, do note that you'll get a 25% off coupon for the DLC, as opposed to the actual DLC itself, by buying this bundle. And that's all for this bundle. This bundle is an amazing deal if you do not have most of these games. Each Resident Evil has its own personality, and while some are more memorable than others, they are still amazing experiences to play through. I would highly recommend it. What's even more interesting is that many gamers who have missed this bundle initially regretted not getting it, so here's your chance. Anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.